Weapons are arguably the most important aspect of Monster Hunter, and that's because each of the 15 different weapons offer something truly unique, not only transforming your entire playstyle, but the way in which you experience the game as well. In the same vein, Granblue Fantasy Relink has a whopping 22 characters, each with their own game-defining playstyles and even more to come in the Endless Ragnarok expansion. So today, we're taking a look at which characters in Relink best encapsulate the spirit of each of the weapons from Monster Hunter, starting with my main weapon. The greatsword in Monster Hunter is slow, but this thing is capable of the single hardest hits in the game. You can assert your dominance by tackling right through an attack and bully the monster into submission with massive neuron activating charge slashes. And Vasaraga is just greatsword on steroids, dude. Slow charge attacks with thick ass damage numbers, eternal hyper armor because who the hell has time for flinching, let's be real, mobility akin to extreme style in Monster Hunter Frontier, and a skill that straight up makes you immortal. But just like Greatsword, while his game plan does look simple on paper, he'll need good knowledge of both the fight and his moveset to really make the most of this character. Insect Glaive is the pogo stick of Monster Hunter, the only mainline weapon that allows you to adopt a mid-air combat style, fighting the game's camera while bouncing off the monster and finishing with a powerful dive attack. Now unfortunately, this more unique playstyle lacks in damage compared to a more grounded approach, which is sad because aerial style is a lot of fun. But if you're an Insect Glaive main, you're going to feel an immediate kinship towards Zeta. And in this game, aerial style is meta, baby. Your entire game plan involves getting airborne as much as possible, pogo sticking off the monster repeatedly, and ending with a big ass finisher. Now looping these attacks will require proper timing, which can be tricky in the heat of battle, but her character specific sigils, aka decorations, can help with that. All in all, a very fun and unique character to play and a true champion of aerial insect glavers worldwide. With the longsword, your goal is to build up your spirit gauge by whacking the monster and hitting them with your finisher. The more you level up your gauge, the more damage you'll do. And in Wilds, a maxed out level 3 gauge will enhance your attacks, but you'll want to save your biggest move for last, as it will deplete the rest of your gauge and set you back to level 2. This weapon is also capable of insane counter attacks, which when mastered is basically spammable invincibility that makes the fight feel just a little bit broken. Now you might think the longsword would belong to the character with, you know, an actual longsword, but no, that character is reserved for another weapon entirely. Instead, the core essence of the longsword is actually split between two characters in Relink. Saphon has the basic Wilds longsword loop in a nutshell. Build up your gauge, use it to enhance your attacks, and just before it fully depletes, use your big avatar finisher and do it all over again. But Yodaha is the one with the longsword counterplay. Not only does he have a 3-stage gauge you want to fill up to strengthen your skills,
over here, you cunt!
But this little bastard has counters that make you feel damn near invincible. You can straight ignore some of the biggest attacks in the game and just keep going. Anyway, light bowgun is one of the more mobile ranged weapons in Monster Hunter, and an incredibly dangerous one at that. The gameplay of the bowguns often boils down to point, click, sometimes move out of harm's way. In Wilds, the LBG also got a sweet burst fire mode that can be recharged by firing even more bullets into the monster. Rakam has a burst fire on his shots too, and also has a cool little mechanic that gives each shot extra damage if you time your inputs correctly. I quite like this, it feels good. You'll alternate between firing a gazillion shots at your target and hitting him with a big old charge attack when your heat gauge is full. I didn't really give this guy much of a chance before testing him for this recording, but now I kind of want to play him some more. He's actually pretty fun. The sword and shield in Monster Hunter has two distinct personalities, the first being the one it's advertised as. Simple, uwu beginner-friendly moveset, excellent versatility, and unmatched for a supportive playstyle. But the second one is where things get weird. The hyper-aggressive, tech-heavy, perfect rush spamming playstyle capable of absolutely decimating the monster. The captain, aka main character, embodies the first playstyle. Year-old, well-rounded, jack-of-most-trades character with a diverse move pool capable of adapting to any kind of fight. On the other hand, Siegfried is perfect rush spam incarnate. His entire combo requires precise timing, but if you pull it off, you'll be rewarded with this sick-ass combo finisher that looks like something straight out of Smash Brothers. But he's still got great support too, with party-wide defense and status immunity buffs. He's just a real homie like that, you know? The hammer is another Unga Bunga charge weapon, but this time with much more mobility. You can actually move while charging, allowing you to dodge attacks and go in for the kill at just the right time. In Wilds, the hammer also carries plenty of offset attacks depending on your combo or charge level, which are capable of parrying the monster and following up with a massive attack of your own. I love these things, by the way. And Percival is the one who's most like the hammer, with his ability to remain mobile while charging his attack and freely switch between being all up in the monster's face or hit and run tactics as needed. Just like Hammer in Wild, you can also parry attacks with a well-timed charge attack of your own. And you're definitely going to want to master this technique, as it allows you to keep on the offensive and grants you some powerful buffs later in the game. Look, he's not the most complex character to play, but his game plan is simple, straightforward, and very unga bunga. To no one's surprise, dual blades are the most spammy weapon in Monster Hunter history. Death by 1,000 cuts, as they say. Except in some of the games, those cuts also hit like a fucking truck. Combine that with extreme mobility and extra dodges built into the kit and you'll be a goddamned tornado of destruction. Just be careful of deceptively high animation commitments on some of your attacks. They'll get you when you least expect it. Or just play Lance. No, not that Lance. This Lance. Lancelot. Unfortunate name, I know. But this guy is a firm believer of the 80-20 rule. Spend 80% of your time mashing your basic attack and 20% of it using skills and built-in dodge to continue your onslaught of carpal tunnel-inducing annihilation. And if you need a quick breather, you can just freeze the fucking monster for a while too, because why the hell not? To play the Lance is to become the wall. Your combos are simple. Your damage may not be topping charts anytime soon, but you can stick to the monster like nobody's business. And in some situations, you can live the dream of being that valiant defender who protects their teammates from certain death. Vayne is the Lance of Relink, and he totally should have been called Lancelot. Very simple combos, no chart topping damage, but can remain in the monster's face, block hits with a well-timed heavy attack, and of course drop down a big-ass shield to save the party from certain doom. This guy plays Monster Hunter, and he plays the fucking Lance, baby. Switch X has two modes, Sword Mode and the one that charges up your Sword Mode. When charged up, your Sword Mode can also deal extra hits called file damage alongside its attack. In World, Axe Mode sadly doesn't have a lot going for it, outside of buffed stagger and part-breaking damage, which is pretty cool. But in Rise, all of that changes. Axe also gains Sword Mode's extra file damage, and alongside the Rapid Morph skill, constantly switching between the two modes is the best playstyle, as it should be. Nanamayo wields a longsword, speaks in weird poetic riddles, and has the most flashy anime moves in existence. Which is why you may be wondering, why the hell does she get Switch Axe? Well, her rotation has her constantly switching between Dawnfly and Free Flutter stance. In Dawnfly stance, her attacks are slower but have significantly higher stun value, which also contributes to breaking parts, just like Axe Mode in World. It's also the coolest stance, which is unfortunately just used to combo back into the higher DPS Free Flutter stance, just like Axe Mode in every game that isn't Rise. Hunting Horn is a weapon that can provide a range of party buffs while staying on the offensive. You can prepare different kinds of notes during battle, and when you have an opening, play your songs to either buff up or deal extra damage. In Wild, you can even place down echo bubbles, which will both damage the monster and buff your teammates as well. Rosetta is hands down the hunting horn of Granblue characters. Her most important mechanic are her roses. Place these down and they'll attack any enemies in range. You can even swap between party-wide defense, regen, or attack buffs as needed. But knowing your openings is going to be key to pulling off her bigger attacks, as well as positioning to keep your roses in range of the enemy. But thankfully she has plenty of tools in her kit to adapt to more mobile monsters as well. The bow of Monster Hunter feels a tad more like a shotgun. You need to maintain a pretty close distance to get the most benefit out of your shots. And if you got a nice thick target, you can use the Dragon Piercer to drill through the bastard for massive damage. In Wilds, you can also use your Focus Strike to lock onto a monster's wounds and fire off a barrage of arrows for one of the most satisfying moves in the game. Now Twayen is the only bow user in Relink, but she does it well. Fire off skills and combo shots to fill up your Ultra Sight gauge for your ultimate finisher, Multi-Lock Hail. Very reminiscent of the Focus Strike from Wilds. In fact, a lot of her animations feel just like Monster Hunter bow animations, which is really damn cool in my book. Not a character I've learned how to play yet, but I would love to. Heavy Bowgun and Gun Lance. That's right, you bet your ass we got the old 2-for-1 deal going on here. Allow me to explain. Heavy Bowgun is a simple yet very, very effective weapon. You point, you shoot, the monster rolls over like a puppy. If you like missing your shots and cursing your terrible aim, you can even go for a crouched sniper shot too. Good luck with that. Or maybe it's just me. Gunlance is all about those explosions. The Ace Lancer said it best. When gun lancers attack, their vigorous thrusts can result in an explosive climax. I need to double check to make sure that's what he actually said. Oh, thank fuck. In World, you also have the Wormstake Blast, a weird little missile thing you lodge into the monster to deal extra damage by blowing it up. And let's not forget Wyvern's Fire for those real big boy hits. Now, Eugen's got the big gun you pull out when you're sick of the monster's bullshit. You aim, you shoot, you destroy. He's got both good sustained damage and incredible burst damage. You can also load the enemy up with grenades and follow up with detonator. Very akin to the Wormstake Wyvern's Fire combo with Gunlance. So while Eugen's playstyle more so resembles Heavy Bowgun, he's absolutely got the soul of Gunlance in him. I'm afraid there's just no other character that fits Gunlance like he does. If you love explosions, you're gonna love Eugen. The Charge Blade is one of the most unique weapons in Monster Hunter, and its signature move is the Super Amped Elemental Discharge. A slow, insanely powerful attack that you'll have to build up to first. Starting in a much weaker sword mode, you'll want to attack the monsters to fill your files. Don't even bother with basic attacks, as charged ones work way better. Then you need to charge up your shield, then back to charging your files again. Finally, once you're all set, you can fire off its ultimate attack to make an absolute mess of the monster. And hope to God you don't whiff again. That's the third time in a row. This weapon is incredibly unique, and I honestly didn't think out of the 22 characters in Relink that there would be a single one that could embody the soul of the Charge Blade. But there was. This right here is the face of pure unfiltered destruction. Io is the resident mage character of Granblue. Her basic attacks are just like Charge Blade's sword mode, weak as shit, but she has her own version of the super amped elemental discharge, Stargaze. This absolute nuke of an attack can be charged up to level 5 by accumulating mystic vortex orbs. You'll gain these orbs by using skills and charged basic attacks. By default, Stargaze has a very slow charge time, but can be cast much quicker if used immediately after gaining a mystic orb. Build up your orbs, release the beast, rinse and repeat. Just be aware that Stargaze takes a second to come out, so it can easily whiff if you're not paying attention. But let's kid ourselves no longer. We know that all of these weapons pale in comparison to the one true king.